Well, so let's we have a segment here where our fans here are talking on social media and they have some questions for you. So the first one is, what was your most memorable fan experience? And before you answer that, I just want the audience to know Bob is amazing with his fans. People will come up to you from everywhere and you spend as long as you needed to just acknowledge them, sign something, and I think it really sets you apart from many people who are in the industry. What was one of your most memorable experiences with a fan?
Well, I enjoy those associations with the fans, and I've always thought it's so easy just to say hi. What's your name? What do you do? And I've heard people walk away and say, "He asked me what I do, what my business is. He
Hmm.
wanted to know my name and everything." And that's so simple. Where some athletes and others don't bother me, leave me alone, and it's not the way, in my opinion, that you should do it. So I enjoy talking to the fans. Um, my most memorable comment or meeting with somebody, and not that he was a fan of mine, I knew him more than he knew me, was Jesse Owens, the great Olympic
Hmm.
sprinter and champion. I met him at a track meet in Milwaukee. He was the most gracious and giving and friendly person I'd ever met. I wanted to do an interview with him. He said, "Anything you want to do." We went about 30 minutes, kept reloading. We were doing film in those days, kept reloading film. I talked to him about the 1936 Olympics in Germany, where Hitler wouldn't shake his hand because he was black. And I asked him how he felt about that. He said, "I'm here enjoying this track meet tonight, and where Hitler is right now is of no concern of mine."
Hmm.
He was just gracious. And uh, that has always stuck out in my mind as the most satisfying interview. And I've interviewed had a chance to interview other big names, which I appreciate. But he just sticks in my mind as being so gracious at that time. And most of the Kings fans that come up, they're complimentary, and and they say, "Oh, you are the soundtrack of my life. I've listened to you all my life." And father will come with a couple of kids who are now 10 and 12 years old, and the dad will say, "I listened to you when I was in grade school." And all of a sudden that hits me of how many years I've been doing that. But it's so nice to have that interaction with the fans. And now I'm an ambassador for the team. So
Hmm.
I go to those Kings functions, and I really enjoy that because they're the true fans, and they want to talk to you, and they want to talk about great moments in Kings history. And so that's a highlight of my life, that type of situation.
Oh, for sure. All right, our next social media question is, let's see. What are the three biggest mistakes that you've made in your life? Personal, professional. I know the professional ones are easier to say probably, but what are they?
Well, maybe I look back when I graduated from college, maybe I was too anxious to just take a job to get started because I graduated on a Friday and started on Monday in a
Nice.
little station in Old Wine, Iowa. I just
Mm.
wanted to get going. I had a feeling that, my mother was one who helped with the tuition and everything. Although in those days it was only about $1,000 to go for a year to go to college. It wasn't 40,000. But so I worked and she worked, and I felt I owe that to her to get graduated and get started in that career that she invested quite a bit into. So maybe I should have waited a while, maybe gone to some other areas, bigger markets, and just see if I could start out and get something there and even be, you know, into a bigger market and more successful earlier. So uh, I don't regret not doing that, but I suppose I could have done that.
Two more social media questions. So, who are your mentors and how did they shape your life?
Well, when I was a youngster growing up in Chicago, I listened to everything. And I think that's another uh, topic for young announcers that want to be announcers. Listen to the announcer, listen to the way he describes a game, he describes a play, and really concentrate on what he's doing. And that's how you can be better also. Not that you need to copy him if he has a copyrighted phrase that he uses. You don't want to do that. But there's a way he describes a play in any sport that if you're doing that sport, you can say, that's a good description of that play. And it doesn't belong to that guy. It's not a copyright to him. I think I'll use that in my broadcast. So I would listen to the announcers in Chicago, listen to the White Sox, the Blackhawks, the Bears. I wasn't a Cub fan, so but I would listen to the Cubs announcers and just listen to all those guys and try to get better by listening to somebody like that. So they were mentors for me. In college, I didn't have too many, but in the Kings job, I think Chick Hearn would have been, because I would listen to him do the Laker games. When I came out here, I'd listen to Vin Scully doing the Dodger games, and they become good friends of mine. Listen to Dick Enberg on football and basketball, and so there are so many announcers here that you could come out and listen to them, and just listen to how they do the game, and also how they are in person as an individual. You talk about meeting fans. How are they when you go up to them and say, "Can you tell me this or tell me that? How do you do this?" And have them be cordial and friendly and want to help another person who wants to be an announcer. So those would be some of the mentors that I had.